What's going on, guys? It's Greg from Dows, and over the weekend we had a crazy overtime Maryland versus Ohio State game, and there's some stuff we need to break down.
They're saying that Fritz has the wrong colored gloves on? The colors of the glove? Come on.
So number one, if you didn't see the game, there was a penalty called that caused possession to go to Maryland on the Ohio State faceoff player for having the wrong colored glove.
The glove violation that was called against Coach Myers' faceoff man Fritz will award the ball to Maryland.
That was with about 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The game would then go into overtime where Maryland would win, but there's a lot to dig into here, and it's a lot of controversy rolling around on Instagram, so I wanted to see if I can find out as much information as possible to break it down for you guys. So first thing to look at is the rule. I've got it right here, personal equipment, section 21A, protective equipment. All players on a team must wear gloves of the same dominant official team color unless safety reasons require a different color glove to be worn. So as you can see in the Ohio State video, the player who the penalty was called on was wearing white gloves. Now, as I scrub through the highlights, Ohio State players are wearing all kinds of different gloves. There's players with fully red gloves, players with fully gray gloves, as well as players with white gloves. So clearly, the equipment room coaches were not aware that this is a rule because these players seem to just be wearing whatever colors gloves they want. Now, it seems trivial to be talking about glove colors, but it's a rule. It's in the rule book. They clearly weren't following it, caused a change of possession. You know, I imagine that they will never do that going forward, but a very interesting rule. And so what happened was John Tillman said he allegedly just asked the ref, mentioned that maybe they take a look at the glove color.
Yeah, there was, the game was going on and somebody had mentioned, I can't remember who it was, they were like, hey, why are they using different gloves? And I was like, that is a good question. So I just asked the ref, I go, hey, just a quick question. Don't they all have to use the same gloves?
And then they called the penalty. A lot of people thought it was a little suspect that he waited until the fourth quarter to kind of pull this out of his back pocket. He seemed to wring his hands and say, you know, it was just a question that I asked and that he wasn't trying to incite a penalty. I don't know. He's a smart coach. He probably knows the rule book. All his players are all wearing black gloves. Maybe he was keeping that in his back pocket in case they needed it in the fourth quarter. Maybe he wasn't. Either way, they got the ball in the fourth. Smart coaching move, maybe. Would love to hear from you guys if you think this is the right call. He also called a stick check on a face-off player versus Princeton. And so now I guess people are just feeling he's kind of getting this reputation for trying to call for these ticky-tacky rule changes, or these ticky-tacky equipment checks. So right after they get the change of possession, the coaches are going at it, the players are going at it, Ohio State calls a stick check on Luke Weirman, Maryland's face-off player, which just feels like, you know, you're going to call us on something, we're going to call you on something we think we can get you a penalty on. Luke Weirman's stick turns out to be legal, and the benches are just going crazy. They're just going at it. So this whole situation was with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The score is 11-11. Regulation ends, and the score is still 11-11. So really, this didn't have a direct impact on the score. You could say that maybe Ohio State would have won that face-off and maybe they got the chance to score, but nobody scored because of any of these calls, checks, and penalties. The game goes into overtime, 11-11, and then Maryland eventually does win the game off of a goal by the freshman, and you can see, you know, he does a little shush to the Ohio State bench. The players are chirping. This was really going back and forth. It was a pretty wild moment. So at the end of the day, what you have here is a technicality in the rules. Should it be a rule at the college level? I don't know. What's the point of the rule? I'm not really sure. I guess just uniformity across the team. But I can guarantee you that every single Division I team, and I guess it's an NCAA rule, so every single NCAA team is going to take a good hard look at their gloves this week and say you're all in the same exact color gloves. So I'd love to hear in the comments, sound off what you think of this call, what you think of these kind of ticky-tacky rule calls, calling for stick checks. It's starting to be a conversation. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't, and have a great day.